Welcome again to Joe Stunner Boxing. Frank Warren said something that sort of crossed my mind. I'm sure I'm not the only one. About Joseph Parker and Daniel Dubois. Now, they're going to fight on the 22nd of February, so it's not that far away now. It's, 6 weeks maybe. Not that far away. Time will soon fly. And Frank, you got the feeling he had a slight concern for Daniel, because he seemed to imply that Daniel needs to concentrate on Parker. He's looking beyond Parker to a rematch with Usyk, because Daniel has spoke very explicitly about wanting that rematch. He said that Usyk got lucky, which he didn't. And he got in the ring after Usyk's second victory over Fury, kind of interrupted Usyk's moment, if you like. Usyk's not having any luck in that respect, is he? Joshua has a meltdown after his second defeat. And then after he beats Fury for a second time, up pops Daniel Dubois to sort of take away a lot of the take away the moment, so to speak. But I think Warren might have a point here when he says that definitely Daniel needs to concentrate on Parker, because you don't need me to tell you that when you're not concentrating, you're giving the opponent a potential advantage. But it is an advantage. How big the advantage would be, open to debate. But bear in mind that I'm old enough to have, watched and vividly remember Tyson Fury getting knocked out, Mike Tyson getting knocked out by Buster Douglas. If ever there was an example of someone taking someone else lightly and the other guy being really up for the fight and really focused and really fit, it was that. Now, Joseph Parker he went on this excellent run of victories following his 11th round knockout to Joe Joyce in September of 2022. He had a little 10-round, probably surprisingly competitive fight against Jack Massey. He then went back he's from New Zealand, but he fought in Australia, 1-round knockout over someone I'd never heard of. Then he fought Simon Keane, knocked him out in 3, won a unanimous decision over Deontay Wilder, and then won a majority decision over Zhang. So he's come back fantastically well, Joseph has. He's now 33, not old for a heavyweight, but not young either. 6'4", you know about Joseph. He's now trained by Andy Lee. I think his body has changed since he's been with Lee. Lee concentrates less on his fighters having the body beautiful. He wants them to be comfortable at the weight, have a few pounds to burn off. People forget this about heavyweights. If you're that big, a heavyweight in a tough workout, a tough sparring session can lose half a stone. That's just in the gym. It's very, very common. People overlook this. Maybe more than that. Depends how much sort of slob weight they're carrying. And Joseph Parker looks perfectly fit, but he's heavier now, somewhat more flat-footed. He sits down his punches a bit more, but definitely with Andy Lee, he has someone in the corner who, really does understand boxing, and he was trained by Emmanuel Stewart and then Adam Booth. So 2 good boxing brains, one of them a superb boxing brain, the other one merely very good. And Parker has made strides, definitely. I mean, the Joyce, don't forget he got knocked out by Joyce when Joyce was absolutely flying. Nevertheless, having said that, I do think against Zang, there was something that I didn't particularly like when I watched Parker there, and that was that he seemed a bit more brittle than he has done in previous years. It seemed that whenever I know Zang's massive and he's heavy-handed and all the rest of it, but whenever he was touching Parker, Parker was shaking. And Parker, in fact, went on the floor twice in the 3rd round and the 8th round. And yes, Zang is a big, big, big guy. Hits very, very hard. You saw what he did to Wilder. You saw what he did to Joyce. And Parker didn't get knocked out. He got floored twice, but he came back and won a majority decision. Yeah, there's plenty to admire in Joseph Parker, but the fact that he's getting clipped and shaken, and he was being shaken by punches that weren't necessarily full-blooded punches or landed flush. I think that's a worry if you're going to face Dubois. Now, Dubois has got to come up with, he's got to be on it mentally. He'll be physically prepared, one would imagine. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, at 22 wins, 21 KOs, 2 defeats. We know what that one with them to Joyce as well as stoppage. And then he quit against Usyk. But he's got to be on this, because I can see a scenario where if he's not concentrating, or he's not maximising his talents, which are obviously power, excellent jab, aggression, it's a kind of an intelligent aggression. It's possible that Parker could move, give him lots of angles, make him constantly offset his offense, and pinch rounds, and then suddenly you're in the 10th round and you're behind on points. And I can see that sort of scenario, because my original reaction when I heard about the fight was, I think Dubois will knock him out. One of the reasons is because Parker has been so he's looked a little bit vulnerable to me when he's hit cleanly. I mean, Wilder didn't get a chance to hit him. Wilder, is one of the most bizarre performances I've ever seen from a heavyweight. He didn't even turn up. It was like he was just there to sort of go through the motions and collect his money and go home. Yeah, I mean, that was, and Jack Massey, I mean, I know we're going back to the early 2023, but 2 years ago, but even he made it competitive. There was just, against Zang, there was just something I thought wasn't quite right with Park. And it may just have been a bad day at the office. But there's no doubt that he's not going to go straight at Dubois and have a good old punch up in the middle of the ring. He's not going to fight with the same sort of loose abandon that Joshua did. And we all know what happened to Joshua when he fought Dubois. He's going to, probably jab with the jabber, but he's going to be moving, he's going to be sidestepping, he's going to be trying to give Daniel angles so that he can't maximise that power. And the other thing that goes against Parker, and I think people are somewhat overlooking, is even though he had that fantastic run in 2023, the last time he fought, the Zang fight was the last time, was in March of 24. So it will be 11 months since he's fought. I would like him to have had a little 10-rounder, maybe, or just to sort of sharpen his skills, keep himself busy. 11 months out of the ring, when you're talking about Dubois, who is flying in confidence, who fought Joshua in September. Before that, it was Hrgovic in June, I think it was. And then he fought Miller at the back end of 23. So he's been very busy. He's been very busy against top quality opposition. And he's got, he's been under the biggest lights of all, Wembley Stadium, of course, with 90,000 people there. Hrgovic and the Miller fights were over in Riyadh. So he really has matured to the point where if he's not in his prime, he's very, very close to it. He's 27 now, Daniel. Big 6'5" lad, filling out. He was always a big lad, wasn't he, at 18, 19, but I just see him, if he's on it, I think he's probably going to be too much for Joseph. But Frank Warren, I think, is absolutely correct to say he needs to concentrate on Parker, because Parker's got skills. And if Dubois is not paying attention and has not prepared correctly, it is perfectly feasible that Joseph Parker could outpoint Daniel. I know some of you in the comments, whenever I've mentioned these two fighters before, have said, Parker's going to win this, definitely. It's a couple of people have even said he knocks out Dubois. He'll frustrate him and make him quit again. No, I'd have to think about that. I'm not going to make a cast iron prediction now, but I do definitely think that Frank Warren, and he's a wise old buzzard, isn't he? I've been around for 45 years or whatever it is in the game as a promoter. So, yeah. Daniel, pay attention, mate. Pay attention. Otherwise, everything, all that good stuff you did in the last 18 months or nearly 2 years is, it's going to come undone, mate. So just a few thoughts. What do you think? Give me your opinions below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Please hit the like button as well, because you're helping the channel out. And if you could share the video, that would be great. And I always appreciate your time and your support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we shall speak again soon. Bye for now.